So when a narcissist gets their hooks in, there is a very, very deep addiction that you need to unwind. Both within themselves, they're generally addicted to new empaths, really, but you're addicted to narcs as well. And the question is, you need to pierce that addiction, unwind that by saying what the narc didn't learn. So you want to short circuit any kind of pleasure or hope of another golden period, which was a fake fantasy. You want to subvert that and just realize what they didn't learn, right? They will continue. They look at their previous relationship with you as your failure, right? You are the treacherous one. You are the one that messed up. The question to ask, if you're such a horrible person, why do they still want you in there as a satellite, right? Why do they still want you as a friend if you're such a horrible person? Because reality is, they have an addiction to new sources of supply, and they have really an objectification of other people, even though they don't admit it. They're users. They're exploitative. Um, they're addicted to that destructive process, and they don't see anything wrong with it. They don't call it addictive. They don't call it using it. They call it loving other people because that's all they know. Um, in their lifetimes, like deep down, they may have some kind of awareness of some other kind of relationship with other people, but as far as what they're identified with and what they know, using other people as a means to an end, as a sense of control for stability, and to get them to worship them as a sense of esteem, and including the degradation process, which again they have blinders on and how they can experience other people. They will continue to reject accountability. For the most part, it may be verbal accountability in order to get you back, to which they will roll back that surrender of accountability over time, right? So my narcs cheating came. Well, I am a horrible person, and then it evolved to, I am a, if I would never done it if you hadn't stayed engaged. Evolved to, etc. Right? It's a rollback of accountability. They were never sorry in the first place. They just didn't want you to leave. Maintaining of entitlement. So they expect you to completely sacrifice again, should you continue to be, do another dance with them, to dance another round with them. Their their entitlement to your total energy, they believe that, and they also believe that they're in and and they'll also be that'll be not enough for them as well. So no matter how much you give, it's never enough. They always want a new source of supply. Eventually, the devaluation process always commences because that's the nature of the mental disorder. They'll be asserting control constantly and rejecting threats of control. So, one of the best ways to avoid another round with a narcissist is just to say, is to not accept full accountability for how the relationship ended. If you grovel, you can take another dance with the devil if you want, and suffer even more, even worse. Um, but if you never resort to that point, then you're not as appealing of a target to re-hoover. So that is uh, that is the nature of the unsustainability of these people. They didn't learn anything. but they will keep coming back for more as long as you allow it. And as long as you're allowing it, you haven't resolved those old wounds that allowed them to, take up residence in the first place, the energetic parasite to take up residence in the first place. So unwind the addiction, be aware of the patterns um, in themselves, the signs. Um, you should, a golden period, a love bombing versus a love relationship is it's hard to distinguish one from the other. A devaluation process is not. So, so learn to recognize that without doing your best not to be hyper vigilant, and also just return back to what is it about my history that allowed me to put up with the sustained devaluation, because it is a consistent low level humiliation that erodes both partners as far as a sustainable relationship goes. If you're interested in narcissistic fuel supply, that's completely different than a sustainable relationship. One the narcissistic fuel supply means you are slowly slicing away at your partner. You have chained them up energetically, and you're slicing away with them for food, right? That's an externalization, an extreme externalization of what they do emotionally and energetically, and on non-criminally, right? It's a energetic spiritual crime as opposed to an actual crime, which would be to actually physically chain you up and eat your body parts. But they do that energetically. Not even in their frame of consciousness is, hey, we're going to go out and work together as a team to hunt a deer. We're going to go out and find an apple orchard and, collect apples and take care of each other. And if one day I'm short on apples and you have abundance, you're going to give me more, and vice versa. But it's not like we enjoy the teamwork, but you're not there for the other person because they're necessarily adding this kind of value. You there because you sense their inner spirit and you like that connection. So that frame of reference is completely foreign to the narcissist. They only know find another person, enslave them in my basement, tie them to the wall, chop them up for parts. When there's nothing more to eat, find the next victim, rinse, 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 repeat. So, which includes let the skeleton of your corpse go in order to forage in the forest, in order to get fattened up, in order to be captured again, if you allow that type of garbage, right? Keep it all in mind. Thanks for listening. Take care.